5 days remained until the Empire's deadline. Commander Vexthor had run out of patience and options. His fleet was falling apart. Crew morale was destroyed. The Emperor was demanding results. Humanity was still smiling. Vexthor made a decision that surprised everyone, including himself. He would go to Earth, face to face with humanity's leaders, not for negotiation, not for surrender, to understand what made them different. If I am to destroy them, he told his officers, I must understand them first. President Hana received his message with quiet satisfaction. He's coming alone? Yes, Madam President, Admiral Daehyun confirmed. No guards, no weapons. He wants to meet you in person. Then let's show him Earth. The real Earth, not the propaganda, not the carefully chosen images, everything. Vexthor landed in Seoul 2 days later. His shuttle touched down in a park surrounded by thousands of humans who came to watch. They did not run, did not panic. Some took pictures. Others just went about their day. One old woman walked her dog past the alien spacecraft without looking twice. President Hana waited at the landing site. She wore simple clothes. No military uniform. No formal dress. Just comfortable clothes a normal person might wear. Welcome to Earth, Commander, she said, bowing slightly. Vexthor stepped off his shuttle. His crystalline form glowed in the afternoon sun. He towered over the humans around him, yet they did not seem impressed. Children pointed at him with curiosity, not fear. I have come to understand your species, Vexthor said. Before I destroy you? Then let me give you a tour, Hana replied. No tricks, no weapons, just truth. They started in Seoul. Hana took him through the city streets. Markets where people sold food. Parks where children played. Offices where people worked. Normal life continuing despite the alien fleet overhead. Your people are not preparing for war, Vexthor observed. They are not building bunkers. Not evacuating. Why? Where would we go? Hana asked. This is our home. Our only home. If we're going to die, we might as well die living. They visited a memorial for the Korean War. Walls covered with names of the dead, thousands of them. Hana explained how Korea had been split in two. How families were divided. How a nation tore itself apart. We did this to ourselves, she said quietly. Not aliens. Not invaders. Ourselves. Vexthor scanned the memorial. And you memorialize your failures? We memorialize what we learned. The cost of conflict. The price of division. We remember so we don't repeat it. But you still have conflicts, Vexthor said. I have seen your broadcasts. Your species fights constantly. Yes, Hana agreed. We do. We probably always will. But we're trying to fight less. Trying to solve more problems with words instead of weapons. It's slow progress, but it's progress. The next stop was Hiroshima, Japan. They took a fast plane. During the flight, Hana explained the atomic bomb. How humans had split the atom and immediately used it to kill other humans. How they dropped 2 bombs and killed hundreds of thousands in seconds. Vexthor had read the reports, but hearing it directly from a human was different. Your species created weapons to destroy yourselves? Yes. And we're the only species who ever used atomic weapons in war. Against ourselves. Hana looked out the window. We're not proud of it, but we did it. In Hiroshima, they visited the Peace Memorial Park. The dome building, preserved as it was after the bomb. The eternal flame that would burn until all nuclear weapons were eliminated. The monuments to the dead. Vexthor saw something he did not expect. The city was alive, thriving, beautiful, built on top of ashes and radiation. You destroyed this city, he said slowly. Then you rebuilt it. We did, Hana confirmed. We've destroyed a lot of things. We always rebuild. That's what humans do. Dr. Yuna joined them in Hiroshima. She brought data, charts, historical records. She showed Vexthor every major disaster in human history. Natural and man-made, wars, plagues, famines, genocides, earthquakes, floods, volcanic eruptions. We've survived all of it, Yuna explained. Every century something tries to wipe us out. Sometimes it's nature. Sometimes it's ourselves. We just keep going. Why? Vexthor asked. Why not give up? Why not accept extinction when it comes? Yuna smiled. Because we're stubborn. Maybe stupid. Probably both. But giving up is not in our nature. Even when we should. They flew to Berlin next. Hana showed Vexthor where a wall once divided the city. East and west. Communist and capitalist. Families separated for decades. The wall came down, Hana said, standing where it once stood. The city reunited. The nation reunited. Our worst enemies became our closest allies within one generation. That's humanity. We change, we adapt, we forgive. Usually, that evening they had tea in a traditional Korean house. Just Hana, Vexthor, Admiral Daehyun, and Dr. Yuna. No cameras, no recording devices. Just conversation. Why are you showing me this? Vexthor asked. This weakness, this chaos, this proof that your species barely functions. Because it's not weakness, Daehyun said. It's our strength. Every other species you conquered was united, peaceful, organized. They were easy to understand, easy to predict, easy to control. We're none of those things, Hana continued. We're divided, violent, chaotic. We can't even govern ourselves properly. Half our planet disagrees with the other half on basic things. Then how do you survive? Vexthor demanded. How does a species so fractured continue to exist? Because fracture is our natural state, Yuna explained. We're comfortable with chaos. We're good at it. We've been practicing for thousands of years. Order is what we struggle with. Unity is what we work toward but rarely achieve. Chaos is home. She pulled up more data on her tablet. Look at our technological progress. It's not steady. It's not logical. We make huge leaps during wars, during disasters, during times of stress. Chaos drives us forward. The wheel was invented independently by multiple cultures, Hana added. Fire, agriculture, writing. We discover things over and over because we don't communicate well. We're inefficient, redundant, wasteful. And yet here you are. Daehyun finished. Still alive. Still growing. Still reaching for the stars despite having barely figured out how to not kill each other. Vexthor was silent for a long time. His crystalline body flickered through colors as he processed everything. I understand now, he finally said. You're not trying to win. You're trying to make yourselves not worth conquering. Exactly, Hana smiled. Defeating you militarily is impossible. Negotiating from weakness is pointless. But making ourselves too annoying, too unpredictable, too chaotic to govern, that we can do. That we're good at. If you conquer us, Yuna said, you inherit 8 billion problems. 8 billion individuals who will resist in 8 billion different ways. We don't even understand each other. How will you understand us? If you destroy us, Daehyun added. You prove that genocide is the Empire's answer to difficulty. Every other species in the galaxy will see that. Remember that. Fear that. And if you leave us alone, Hana concluded, you can tell the Emperor that Earth is not worth the resources required to conquer it, not because we're strong, because we're annoying. Vexthor looked at the three humans. They were not warriors, not superheroes, not special, just ordinary people from a chaotic species that refused to accept when they were beaten. What if the Emperor orders your destruction anyway? He asked. Then we die, Hana said simply. But we'll die being ourselves, chaotic, stubborn, annoying to the end. And somewhere some human will survive. Maybe on Mars, maybe in a bunker, maybe in space. And they'll rebuild, because that's what we do. Vexthor returned to his ship that night. He had seen humanity, really seen it. Not their weapons, not their defenses, their soul, and it terrified him more than any weapon could, because he realized the truth. The Empire could destroy Earth, but it could not erase humanity. They would survive somehow. They always did, and they would remember, and someday somewhere they would become a problem again. Better to leave them alone. Better to mark Earth as too chaotic to govern. Better to walk away. But that decision would have to wait for morning. For now, Vexthor had a lot to think about. 20 days had passed since the Empire's arrival. Commander Vexthor was done with games, done with warnings, done with humans who smiled when they should be afraid. The Emperor himself had sent a message. A rare thing. The Emperor ruled 3,000 worlds and never bothered with individual conquests, but humanity had become an embarrassment. A primitive species was making the Empire look weak. End this, the Emperor commanded. Immediately. Use whatever force necessary. Vexthor assembled the largest battle fleet the Empire had used in 50 years. 3,000 warships appeared in Earth's solar system. They filled the space between Mars and Earth like a metal cloud. Each ship carried weapons that could burn continents. Together, they could crack a planet into pieces. President Hana watched the fleet arrive from the command center. The screens showed red dots everywhere. There were so many ships they blocked out the sun in some areas. That's a lot of angry aliens, Admiral Daehyun said calmly, sipping his coffee. Are we ready? Hana asked. As ready as we'll ever be. Dr. Yuna's toys are deployed. Colonel Taemin's Psychological Warfare Division is standing by. Captain Jinwoo's Special Forces teams are in position. Hana nodded. Then let's show them what humanity does best. The Empire fleet began its advance. Slow and organized. 3,000 ships moving in perfect formation. Their shields up. Their weapons hot. Nothing could stop them. Nothing should stop them. The first ship hit the minefield 5 million kilometers from Earth. Except it was not really a minefield. The devices Dr. Yuna had scattered throughout the solar system did not explode. They did not shoot. They did not destroy. They attached. Small drones, each no bigger than a basketball, magnetically locked onto the Empire ship's hulls. Within seconds, every ship had dozens of them attached. The Empire captains ordered them destroyed, but the drones were shielded. Basic protection, but enough. Then they started broadcasting. Music flooded the Empire ships, not through their communication systems, directly into their neural networks. The drones had hacked into the alien crew's minds using frequencies Dr. Yuna discovered in the recovered wreckage. The music was Earth's greatest. Hits. Rock. Classical. Pop. Jazz. Hip-hop. Country. Everything. Humanity had created over centuries. Loud. Constant. Impossible to turn off. But music was just the beginning. Movies followed. Hundreds of Earth's films broadcast directly into alien minds. Not just entertainment films. Documentaries, historical records, news footage, everything. The Empire crew members saw World War I, World War II, the Holocaust, Hiroshima, the Vietnam War, the Rwandan genocide. Every terrible thing humanity had done to itself. Then they saw the rebuilding. The memorials. The peace treaties. The reconciliation. The growth. One Empire captain watched footage of Hiroshima. The atomic bomb. The destruction. The death. He was horrified. Then he saw modern Hiroshima, a thriving city, beautiful, peaceful, built on top of the ashes. How? He whispered to himself. How does a species do this to itself and survive? The psychological attack was working exactly as Colonel Taemin planned. He sat in his office monitoring the reports from the Empire fleet. He was a thin man with gray hair and eyes that never blinked. He had spent 30 years studying how to break people's minds without touching them. They're seeing what we want them to see, he told his team. Not our strength. Our resilience. Not our weapons. Our survival. Every species they conquered was normal, united, logical. We're showing them we're none of those things. Philosophy broadcasts started next. Humans debating ideas, fighting over concepts, arguing about everything. The Empire crews watched humans disagree about religion, politics, morality, science, art, and what counted as pizza. They can't even agree on basic things, one alien officer reported. They fight over everything. How do they function? They don't function, his commander replied, watching a human debate about whether a hot dog was a sandwich. They barely survive themselves, and yet they're still here. Sports came next. The drones broadcast centuries of human competition. Olympic Games. World Cups, championships. The Empire crews watched humans push themselves to physical limits for no practical reason, just to be better than other humans, just to win. They compete over everything, an Empire analyst reported to Vexthor. Running fast. Throwing objects. Chasing balls. They create arbitrary rules and then devote their lives to following them. It's madness in her dedication, Vexthor said quietly. They're showing us they never give up, even on pointless things. The horror films came last. This was Colonel Taemin's favorite part. He made sure every Empire crew member saw humanity's scariest movies. The ones designed to terrify people for entertainment. The Empire crews could not understand it. Why would any species create entertainment meant to frighten themselves? What kind of mind enjoys being scared? The kind of mind that prepares for everything, Taemin thought, smiling. The kind of mind that looks at fear and says, let's make art from it. After 5 days of constant broadcasting, the Empire fleet's morale began to crack. Crew members reported insomnia, anxiety, confusion. Some requested transfers. Some requested to go home. Some just sat in their quarters trying to process what they had seen. These humans are broken, one officer told Vexthor. Their species is fractured, divided, self-destructive. They should not exist. And yet they do, Vexthor replied. That's the problem. President Hana broadcast to the Empire fleet on day 25, 5 days before the deadline. She appeared on every screen, every display, every surface in every ship. People of the Empire, she said calmly. You've now seen who we are, what we are. You've seen our history, our art, our conflicts, our survival. And you're wondering how to conquer a species like us. She leaned forward, her expression serious. The answer is you can't. Not because we're strong. We're not. Not because we're advanced. We're not that either. You can't conquer us because we're chaos. We don't follow your rules. We don't think like you. We barely think like each other. Admiral Dae-hyun appeared beside her. You can destroy our cities. We'll rebuild them. You can kill millions of us. We've killed millions of ourselves and kept going. You can occupy our planet. We'll resist in ways you can't predict because we don't predict them either. Dr. Yuna joined them. The Empire runs on logic, order, efficiency. We're the opposite. We solve problems by trying random things until something works. We survive disasters by being too stubborn to die. You can't beat that with superior technology. The broadcast ended with one final image. Earth seen from space. Small, blue, fragile. A planet that had survived everything it threw at itself. We're still here, Hana's voice said over the image. And we always will be. In the Empire fleet, crew members looked at each other. They had seen what humanity was. They had seen what humanity could survive. They had seen what humanity would become if pushed. The truly frightening thing was not that humans were strong. It was that they were unkillable. Not because they were tough, but because they refused to recognize when they were beaten. Captain Minho, commanding one of Earth's few space vessels, watched the Empire fleet. His ship was tiny compared to theirs, a toy next to monsters, but he was not afraid. Sir, his communications officer said, 5 more Empire ships just broke formation. They're requesting permission to leave the battle zone. Minho smiled. Permission granted. Tell them to go home. Tell them we don't want to fight them either. The Empire fleet had come to conquer Earth. Instead, they were learning that some species were not worth conquering, not because they were too strong, but because they were too annoying. Vexthor sat in his command chair watching his fleet fall apart around him. He had brought 3,000 ships. He had absolute technological superiority. He had the full power of the Empire, and somehow he was losing to a species that could barely reach their own moon. 10 days passed. The world watched the alien ships and waited. The Empire watched humanity and grew more impatient. Commander Vexthor sent daily messages demanding a decision. President Hana sent daily responses asking for more time to consider. On the 10th day, Vexthor decided to send a message that could not be ignored. 3 massive capital ships moved into position above Tokyo. Each ship was 5 kilometers long. Each carried enough firepower to crack a planet's crust. They powered up their main weapons, creating light shows that could be seen from the ground. Every television channel showed the same thing. The 3 ships, the weapons charging, the countdown. In 2 hours they would fire. Tokyo would be erased from the map. 30 million people lived there. This is your final warning. Vexthor's voice echoed across every communication device on Earth. Surrender now, or watch your cities burn. President Hana sat in the command center with Admiral Dae-hyun. They watched the countdown clock. 1 hour and 55 minutes remaining. Are your people in position? Hana asked quietly. Dae-hyun nodded. Captain Jinwoo's team has been on board for 3 days. Dr. Yuna's hack is ready to deploy. And they're sure it will work? Yuna is never completely sure about anything, but she says it's our best shot. Hana picked up the phone. Do it. Somewhere above Tokyo, inside the Empire's flagship, Jinwoo and his team moved through the corridors. They had been hiding in the ship's maintenance section since day 7. Getting on board had been surprisingly easy. The Empire's security was designed to stop weapons and bombs. It was not designed to stop a small team carrying nothing but basic tools and a computer virus. Jinwoo was a short man with a quiet voice and very steady hands. He had been a Special Forces soldier for 15 years. He had broken into secure facilities on 3 continents. An alien spaceship was just another job. His team of 6 moved silently. They wore stolen Empire uniforms. The disguise devices Dr. Yuna created made them look like the crystalline aliens. As long as no one looked too closely, they were invisible. They reached the ship's central computer core. Lieutenant Bora, the team's tech specialist, plugged in Yuna's device. It was a small black box, no bigger than a phone. "Uploading now," Bora whispered. 30 seconds. "We don't have 30 seconds, Jinwoo said, watching the corridor. "We have 20. "Work faster," the device hummed. Code flooded into the Empire's quantum network. Dr. Yuna had spent 10 years developing this virus. It did not destroy systems. It did something much simpler. It gave humans access. "Done," Bora said. "We're in." At that exact moment, aboard all 3 capital ships above Tokyo, every system suddenly stopped responding to their crews. The weapons powered down. The shields flickered. The engines went silent. On the bridge of the flagship, the captain stared at his console in horror. "Commander!" "We've lost control of the ship." "What?" Vexthor rushed to the bridge. "How is this possible?" "Unknown, sir." All 3 ships are showing the same problem. "We're locked out of our own systems." Then the main screen flickered. A human face appeared. It was Captain Jinwoo, standing in their own computer core, smiling. "Hello, Commander Vexthor. Thank you for the tour of your ship. Very impressive technology. We don't understand most of it, but we have it now." Vexthor felt something close to panic. "How did you get on my ships?" We walked on. "Your security scans for weapons and explosives." "We didn't bring any. We just brought this." Jinwoo held up the small black device. "Dr. Yuna says hello, by the way. Return control of my ships immediately." "Here's the thing, Commander." Jinwoo's smile got bigger. "We don't really know how your technology works. We're just pressing buttons and seeing what happens. It's quite exciting." "You are bluffing, am I?" Jinwoo pressed a button on his console. The flagship suddenly lurched sideways. The artificial gravity fluctuated, making everyone float for a second before slamming back down. Half the lights went out. An alarm started screaming in a frequency that hurt to hear. "Oops," Jinwoo said. "Wrong button. Let me try this one." "Stop," Vexthor shouted. "You could destroy the ship. You could kill thousands." "Yes, we could," Jinwoo agreed. "That's the problem, isn't it? We have 3 of your most powerful warships. We have no idea how they work. And we're going to experiment." In the Earth Command Center, President Hana broadcast to the world and to the Empire fleet. Her message was simple. "We have control of 3 Empire capital ships. We don't know how to operate them properly. We don't know what any of these buttons do. But we're going to find out. If the Empire attacks Earth, we will start pressing every button we can find. Maybe we'll blow up the ships. Maybe we'll accidentally create a black hole. Maybe we'll figure out how to use your weapons against you. We honestly don't know. That's the scary part." Admiral Daehyun stood beside her. "This is what humanity does best, Commander Vexthor. We survive by being unpredictable. You can destroy our cities, but you can't predict what we'll do with your technology, and that should terrify you more than any weapon." Aboard the flagship, Jinwoo's team was indeed pressing buttons, not randomly but not carefully either. They were following Yuna's instructions, but even she admitted she was guessing about most of it. Bora accidentally activated something called a dimensional anchor. A portal opened in space, showing swirling colors and shapes that should not exist. It stayed open for 5 seconds before closing. No one knew what it did or where it led. Another team member found the ship's communication array. He started broadcasting Earth's internet across the alien fleet. Movies, music, news, cat videos, cooking shows. Everything humanity had ever created, streaming into Empire ships. Within hours, the Empire crew members were seeing things they never imagined. Human wars, human art, human comedy, human tragedy. It was overwhelming, confusing, disturbing. One Empire officer watched a documentary about World War II. He saw humans killing millions of other humans with industrial efficiency. Then he saw them put the people responsible on trial. Then he saw them rebuild. Then he saw them become allies. All within 50 years, the officer reported to his commander. "Sir, these humans are insane. They nearly destroyed themselves, felt bad about it, then became friends with their enemies." "What kind of species does that?" The answer was spreading through the Empire fleet. A species that could not be predicted, could not be controlled, could not be understood using normal logic. On the 3rd day after the hijacking, 5 Empire ships requested reassignment. Their crews could not handle the stress of fighting humans who did not follow any rules they understood. By the 5th day, 20 ships had deserted entirely. Commander Vexthor sat in his command chair, watching his fleet slowly lose confidence. The humans had not destroyed his ships. They had not used them as weapons. They had done something worse. They had proven they could not be predicted. Jinwoo sent one final message before his team prepared to evacuate. "Commander, we're going to leave your ships now." "We'll leave them in orbit. Completely functional. You can have them back." "This is a trap," Vexthor said. "Of course it's a trap," Jinwoo laughed. "But the trap is not in the ships. The trap is in your head. Now you know that humans can board your vessels, hack your systems, do the impossible. Every time you look at one of your ships, you'll wonder if there's a human somewhere inside, waiting to press the wrong button." The connection ended. Vexthor stared at the recovered ships. They checked out perfectly. No damage, no sabotage, no humans hiding anywhere. But Jinwoo was right. Vexthor would always wonder. Commander Vexthor sent his scout teams to Earth 3 days after the president's invitation. They were small groups designed to look like diplomats. Their real mission was to gather intelligence, find the human weapons, find their weaknesses, find out why they were not afraid. The scouts landed in 12 different locations: New York, Tokyo, London, Mumbai, Moscow, Beijing, Lagos, Sydney, Mexico City, Cairo, Seoul, São Paulo. They wore devices that made them look human. The technology was perfect. No one could tell the difference. Lieutenant Crix landed in Seoul. He walked through the busy streets, scanning everything with hidden sensors. The buildings were primitive by Empire standards. The vehicles ran on chemical fuel. The technology was at least 200 years behind the Empire's weakest colony. He entered a coffee shop and sat down. Humans rushed past him, busy with their daily lives. They knew alien ships hung above their cities. They knew they had been given an ultimatum. Yet here they were, buying coffee and talking about weather and sports. Crix could not understand it. A young woman sat across from him without asking. She smiled and put a cup of coffee in front of him. "You look lost," she said in Korean. "First time in Seoul?" Crix's translator device worked instantly. "Yes, I am visiting. Tourist." "Brave of you with all the alien stuff happening." She laughed. "I'm Minji, by the way." Crix introduced himself with his fake human name. They talked for 20 minutes. Minji told him about her work at a technology company. She complained about her boss. She asked if he had seen the alien ships. "Are you not afraid?" Crix asked carefully. Minji shrugged. "Of course I'm afraid. But what am I supposed to do? Stop living? We've got 30 days. Might as well have good coffee while we wait." Crix reported back to the flagship that night. All 12 scouts had similar stories. Humans were afraid, but they kept going to work, going to school, going shopping. It made no sense. "Perhaps they are in shock," one officer suggested. "For 3 days. Vexthor did not believe it. "What about their military?" The reports came in. Earth's military was laughably small compared to the Empire. They had nuclear weapons, but those would barely scratch an Empire shield. They had a few dozen ships in space, none capable of faster-than-light travel. Their largest warship was smaller than an Empire scout vessel. "They have nothing," the tactical officer reported. "No defense that could stop us. No weapon that could harm us. No fleet that could challenge us." Vexthor should have felt satisfied. Instead, he felt more confused. If humans had no defense, why were they acting so calm? "Commander, the human president has sent another message. She asks again if you will join her for dinner." Vexthor made a decision that surprised everyone. "Tell her I accept." The dinner was held in a government building in Seoul. The room was simple by Empire standards. A wooden table, simple chairs, windows showing the city lights. President Hana sat at one end. Admiral Dae-hyun sat beside her. Dr. Yuna sat across from them. At the other end, a chair waited for Vexthor. The commander arrived in his true form. No disguise. His crystalline body glowed with purple light. He was 3 times the size of a human. His presence filled the room with an energy that made the lights flicker. Hana stood and bowed slightly. "Commander Vexthor, thank you for accepting my invitation. Please sit." The chair was not designed for his form, but Vexthor made it work. He settled into position, his crystal form humming softly. Food was brought out. Human food. Vexthor could not eat it, but he scanned it with his sensors. Rice, vegetables, meat, simple compounds, nothing special. "I hope you don't mind that we eat while we talk," Hana said, picking up her chopsticks. It's been a very busy few days. I am told you wish to discuss terms of surrender, Vexthor said. His voice made the glasses on the table shake. Actually, Hana smiled. I wanted to discuss terms of you leaving us alone. Silence filled the room. Vexthor's crystal body flickered between colors. You want us to leave? You have no power to make demands. True, Daehyun said calmly, eating his rice. We can't defeat you. We can't even really fight you. Your technology is far beyond ours. Then you surrender? No, Hana said. We're just being honest about our situation. We're weak. You're strong. We understand that perfectly. Vexthor waited. There had to be more to this. Dr. Yuna pulled out a tablet and slid it across the table. We've been studying you, Commander. For 20 years. We've recovered wreckage from your battles. We've analyzed 847 civilizations you destroyed. We know how you operate. Then you know resistance is useless. We know resistance in the traditional sense is useless, Yuna corrected. Fighting you directly would be stupid. Trying to out-technology you would take centuries. Negotiating from weakness never works. So you will surrender, Vexthor said again. Commander, Hana put down her chopsticks. Let me tell you about humanity. We have been on this planet for about 200,000 years. In that time, we have been trying to kill each other almost non-stop. She pulled up images on a screen. Wars, battles, destruction. We have fought thousands of wars. We have created weapons specifically designed to kill other humans. We dropped atomic bombs on our own cities. We invented chemical weapons, biological weapons. We have killed hundreds of millions of our own species. Vexthor had read the reports. You are a violent species. This makes you dangerous but not a threat to the Empire. You're missing the point, Daehyun said. We're not just violent. We're survivors. Every time we nearly destroy ourselves, we rebuild. We've had multiple extinction-level events, plagues that killed half our population, wars that flattened entire nations. And we're still here. What does this have to do with the Empire? Hana leaned forward. Commander, you've destroyed 847 civilizations. How many of those civilizations had been actively trying to destroy themselves for their entire history? Vexthor thought about it. None. The species we encountered were either peaceful or had resolved their internal conflicts. Exactly, Hana smiled. You've never fought a species like us. We're experts at surviving. We're experts at chaos. We're experts at doing the unexpected. You have 30 days to surrender, Vexthor said firmly. After that, we will destroy your cities one by one until you comply. If you refuse, we will eliminate your species entirely. Have you ever orbital bombarded a planet before? Daehyun asked casually. Of course. It is standard procedure for resistant species. We've nuked ourselves, Daehyun said. Hiroshima, Nagasaki. We dropped atomic bombs on our own cities. Killed hundreds of thousands of our own people. And you know what we did afterward? What? We rebuilt. Those cities are thriving now. Bigger and better than before. You can't scare us with destruction, Commander. We've already done worse to ourselves. Vexthor felt something he rarely felt. Uncertainty. These humans were not following any pattern he understood. They admitted they were weak, but they did not surrender. They acknowledged his power, but they did not fear it. You cannot win, he said, more to convince himself than them. Probably not, Hana agreed. But Commander, have you thought about what happens if you do win? You conquer Earth, you make us a vassal species. Congratulations, now you have to deal with 8 billion humans. 8 billion individuals who have spent their entire history causing chaos, starting conflicts, and finding creative ways to survive impossible situations. She stood and walked to the window, looking out at Seoul. We barely manage to govern ourselves, Commander. We have wars over religion, resources, borders, ideas, and sometimes just because we don't like each other. We argue constantly. We fight constantly. And you think you can control us? Vexthor had no response. The Empire runs on order, Yuna added. Efficiency, clear hierarchy, logic, we're none of those things. We're chaos in biological form. The dinner ended without any agreement. Vexthor returned to his flagship, his crystal form flickering with confused colors. His second-in-command approached. How did it go, Commander? Vexthor stared at the planet below. I am not sure. Admiral Daehyun stood in the command center, watching the screens with tired eyes. He had been awake for 36 hours straight. The coffee in his hand had gone cold an hour ago, but he kept holding it anyway. Outside the reinforced windows, he could see the night sky over Seoul. It looked normal, peaceful. That was about to change. The alarm started screaming at exactly 3:47 a.m. "Sir, we have multiple contacts." The young officer's voice cracked with panic. They just appeared out of nowhere. Hundreds of them. No, thousands. Dae-hyun walked to the main display. His face stayed calm, but his heart was racing. The screen showed red dots appearing across the globe. Above every major city, above the oceans, above the polar ice caps. They were massive ships, each one the size of a small island. "Get me the president," Dae-hyun said quietly, "and someone make fresh coffee. This is going to be a long day." The alien ships blocked out the stars. People around the world woke up to darkness at noon. The massive vessels hung in the sky like dark clouds that would never move. Every television channel, every radio station, every computer screen suddenly went black. Then a face appeared. It was not a human face. The creature was made of crystal that glowed with purple light. Its voice sounded like breaking glass mixed with thunder. It spoke in perfect English, perfect Mandarin, perfect Korean, perfect every language all at once. "I am Commander Vexthor of the Galactic Empire. Your planet is now under our control. You have 30 days to surrender. Join the Empire as a vassal species, or face extinction. We have destroyed 847 civilizations who refused this offer. Do not become 848. The transmission ended. The screens went back to normal. For a moment, the entire world was silent. Then President Hana's phone started ringing. So did every other government leader's phone on Earth. So did the emergency lines at every military base, police station, and fire department. The world began to panic, but not in the way anyone expected. Hana sat in her office, looking at the alien ship hanging over Seoul. She could see it through her window, a dark shape that made the morning look like evening. Her assistant ran in, carrying a stack of papers and a tablet. "Madam President, the UN is on line 1. The military is on line 2. The Chinese premier is on line 3. Everyone wants to know what we should do." Hana picked up her desk phone and pressed a button. "Connect me to all military commanders, including Admiral Dae-hyun." 5 minutes later, the video conference began. Faces appeared on her screen from around the world. Military leaders, scientists, diplomats. Everyone looked scared. Everyone except Dae-hyun. "What are our options?" Hana asked directly. A French general spoke first. "Madam President, their technology is centuries ahead of ours. Our missiles would be useless. Our ships are toys compared to theirs. If we fight, we lose. If we surrender," an American admiral added, "we become slaves. Vassal species means we lose all freedom, all choice, forever." Dr. Yuna joined the call. She was the head of Earth's Space Research Division. Her hair was messy, and she looked like she had not slept in days. She probably had not. "I've been studying their ships," Yuna said quickly. "I've been studying them for years, actually. We've known about the Empire for a while, we just never told anyone." The room exploded with questions. Hana raised her hand for silence. "Explain, Doctor." Yuna pulled up a star chart. "The Empire has been expanding for 300 years. We detected it 20 years ago. We've been watching them destroy other civilizations. We recovered wreckage from some of their conquests. We've been studying how they operate. And," Dae-hyun leaned forward, "and every species they conquered made the same mistake. They all fought normally. They tried to outshoot the Empire or outsmart them or outnegotiate them. None of it worked. The Empire is too big, too advanced, too organized." "So we're doomed," someone said. "No." Yuna smiled. It was not a happy smile. "We just need to do something they've never seen before, something they can't predict." Hana understood immediately. She had been president for 8 years. Before that, she was a military strategist. She knew how to fight wars that could not be won normally. "Set up a press conference," Hana said. "In 2 hours, I'm going to respond to their ultimatum." 2 hours later, Hana stood in front of cameras from every news agency on Earth. Behind her, the alien ship hung in the sky like a dark reminder of their situation. She wore a simple blue suit. Her hair was neat. Her expression was calm. "People of Earth," she began, "we have received an ultimatum from the Galactic Empire. They have given us 30 days to surrender or die. They have told us they are powerful. They have told us they are unstoppable. They have told us to be afraid." She paused, then smiled. "I would like to invite Commander Vexthor to Earth for dinner. We should discuss the terms of our surrender like civilized beings. After all, we have 30 days. No need to rush." Around the world, people watching television did not know how to react. Their president was inviting the alien destroyer to dinner. What kind of strategy was that? In the military command center, Captain Jin Woo watched the broadcast with his Special Forces team. These were soldiers who had fought in the worst conflicts humanity had to offer. They were trained to survive anything. Jin Woo had once spent 3 weeks behind enemy lines with nothing but a knife and a water bottle. When Hana finished speaking, Jin Woo turned to his team. "Only 847 civilizations destroyed? That's nothing. We've killed more than that in training accidents." The room went silent for a moment. Then someone laughed. Then someone else. Soon the entire team was laughing, shaking their heads at the absurdity of their situation. On the alien flagship, Vexthor watched the human broadcast. His crystal face could not show expressions the way human faces could, but inside, he felt something he had not felt in a very long time. Confusion. Every other species had responded with fear. Some begged for mercy, some threatened war immediately, some tried to negotiate, but none had simply smiled and invited him to dinner. What were these humans planning? His second-in-command approached. "Commander, should we respond to the invitation?" Vexthor stared at the planet below, the small blue world that should have been terrified, the species that should have been preparing for war or surrender. "Run a full analysis of human military capabilities," he ordered. "I want to know everything about them, their weapons, their ships, their history, everything." "Yes, Commander." Vexthor turned back to the screen showing President Hana's face. She was still smiling. That smile bothered him more than any weapon could have. On Earth, Admiral Dae-hyun poured himself a fresh cup of coffee. It was hot this time. He took a sip and looked at the alien ship through the window. "Let the games begin," he said quietly to himself.